We're going to go over the coalition application for college. Now, the coalition application is like the Common App, but it's a little bit more different. It's a little bit more stressful, and certain colleges use it that don't use the Common App, and certain colleges use both. So we're going to talk about the benefits of using this one over another one if you have the option, and how to use this one if you don't have the option. So this is a sample one. This is a sample of how it's going to look to the colleges, not how it's going to look to you. To you, it's going to look more like the Common App. It's going to be like a Google Forms if you've ever used Google Classroom in your school. So you're going to put in your name, any other name you use, like for example, a nickname, date of birth, which is necessary, your sex or gender, you can choose not to put that, and your U.S. Armed Forces information. If you've been to the U.S. Armed Forces, most likely you have not if you're a high school student. If you're a transfer student, it's possible. Your contact information, you have to make sure that's correct. Your email, your phone number, and your address. Make sure your address is correct. I did dual enrollment last year. My address was not correct, and it was a big issue. Citizenship and social security number and birthplace. This is important, especially if you want to apply for aid. They need to match this. This needs to be correct. You need to put this in correctly. You might want to leave that like the social security number part off for later. Demographics, if you're Hispanic, Latino like me, or what race you are, which can account for scholarship. It can help you towards admissions too, because historically certain races have performed, I don't want to say worse, but they haven't had the same opportunities as others. Academic interests, what you want to study, and this is important too. This is something that kind of like starts to build up your application, show what it is you're interested in. Payment and financial aid. So you have to say yes or no if you're applying for financial aid. If you say no, you will not be considered for financial aid. If you are, it's going to be a process. It's going to be long. And we also want to say, if you qualify, if you think you qualify for any reason, apply for financial aid. There's going to be a list for the fee waiver. There's going to be a list. If you qualify, click that option, because that way you don't have to pay $75 per application. Household information, who you live with, if your parents are married, if you live with your parents, how many people are in your household, are you a first generation student or not? For example, I'm technically not first generation. My parents didn't go to college here, but I'm technically not first generation. Um, and and then, for example, any siblings you have, and this is important because it kind of like lets them know about your background, and this is a holistic application for most colleges, so it kind of lets them know, maybe I had some, I have like a bunch of siblings, and I'm like the first one to go to college, and my parents didn't go to college, and so it might be like, I don't want to say they want to lower the standards for me, but they're gonna understand my application a little better. And then it asks you more about your parents. uh this is where the coalition application is a little bit difficult, and the Common App too, because for example, like my parents went to school in another country, so it was difficult putting that in, and their occupation, and asked a bunch of questions about it, and I couldn't be too specific in each category because like there wasn't really much to put there. So it was a little difficult, but do the best you can. And there is a section later where you can explain all this stuff if you have to. If you think you made like a mistake in your application, but you're not sure what else to put. But we don't want to put any mistakes in our application. So you have to do that for both parents. And for a sibling, it was a little weird for my sibling because my sibling is 9, but they asked about their educational level and college degree and graduation year. So that was, I think, a little dumb, but I was there. School information, which is important because they want to know where the transcripts are coming from. They want to know, what size the school was. They want to know if that school underperformed compared to other schools. That could have affected your grades, your GPA, your SAT, or if you're like transferring from another school, that could, that could have effects. And so you want to put that in there. You want to put the information in there because that's helps you when it comes to them reviewing your application. They want to know your circumstances what they were when you were receiving your education. Um, your current status. So that is like, are you enrolled in dual enrollment? Are you enrolled in community college? Are you just a high school student? They want to know your GPA. They want to know, you know, class size. Like I said, they want to know about the stuff so they can kind of like be like a student who went to a smaller school probably had more help than a student who went to a bigger school. And they also want to know what grade you're in. School counselor information is important because they use that to communicate with them in case they need anything. Usually they won't communicate with them. Um, it's really up to you to get everything in there, but just in case. And then CBO, if you participate in a community-based organization, you put that in there, and you would know if you participated in one of those. So um, you have to put your coursework, which is a little annoying, but I understand because sometimes the transcript is not reflecting of all your classes, but it is a little bit annoying because the Common App doesn't do this. Your college information, um, any classes you've taken. Again, I'm a dual enrollment student. I took classes while in high school, or if you're in community college, you put those there too. If you're transferring in, but this is like the profile, which is like everyone gets this. So this is actually not the college application yet. There's questions for that, and we'll get to those. Honors and distinctions, any honors you got, my counselor told me to put honor roll on there. On the Common App, it automatically appeared. My counselor put it there. But if you want any like science fairs and stuff like that, you put that in there. Your activities, jobs count, volunteering counts. So put that in there because there's scholarships for that, and it count. You take time out of your day, out of your year to do this stuff. It counts. Test scores. You can put your test scores. The college I'm applying to, super scores, so they take the highest test score like for each section, no matter what. Like if I did really bad in the reading but did really high in the math the first time, and it was the opposite the second time, they take the highest score for each section. But you still have to send it in. You just because you put it in there does not mean it will be sent in. You have to send it in through College Board, or if you're taking the ACT, through the ACT website. Subject tests or AP tests, you want to put those in there because they also show that I mean, if you got a high score, you want to show that you're distinguished in a certain area, especially if like you take the SAT 2 for like biology and you want to be a biology major. Additional tests like English language tests are not necessary if you're not in English. If your English is your native language, or if you're fluent in English, you went to high school here, you don't need that. Now we're going to do the actual application for the University of Maryland. So your profile is part of the application. All the colleges get your profile. But your actual application includes questions from the colleges. So in your profile, you have the option to submit the essay. The essay is kind of like the Common App essay. It's kind of the same. You get kind of the same prompts. You basically get the same prompts. The difference is that the coalition doesn't have a limit. It doesn't have a word limit. It has a word suggestion up to 550, and minimum is 250, I believe, like the Common App. So you might want to make one essay that's really, really good because you don't want to be writing a different essay for each college. Also because some colleges want supplementals, which are like other questions, but in some cases could be other essays, like full-on essays. So you might want to do, one essay for both Common and Coalition App school, so you don't have to stress out when it comes time to write the supplementals for each school. And the thing about the Coalition, it annoyed me that I had to resubmit the essay to the school and not just through the profile. But yeah, you have to make sure the profile is complete. It actually won't let you turn it in if it's not complete. Select when you're applying for admission for, and then official documents. So my counselor submitted my transcripts and high school recommendations and academic recommendations through Naviance. So it's not going to appear on here. University of Maryland is the only school that uses Naviance. You can't link up Naviance to Coalition like you can with Common Board. So Maryland takes it by itself from Naviance. They don't take it through Naviance, through Coalition to themselves. They take it through Naviance. And they're the only schools that do that because they recognize that most high schools do that. And then the questions, like I said, for Maryland, the questions were about kind of, if you could travel, where would you travel, and stuff like that. And there were short questions. If you wanted to explain anything extra, you would explain it there. They also, because it's a state school, asked about residency status. You want to put that you're a state student if you're a state student because you don't want to be paying triple. Uploads, again, the coalition essay. And I had a few waivers, so I didn't have to pay. And so that's it, guys. But yeah, you want to make sure you review this app over and over again because it's important that it's correct. If it's not correct, you're gonna have issues. You might not get in. So I'm gonna be uploading specific videos for specific sections later. But yeah, that was it. So come with me with this struggle. Like, stay with me on this journey. We're gonna vlog. We're gonna panic. Let's go. Let's see how it goes.